Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Thank you very much for joining us here on our YouTube channel for episode number 821. Well, do you like yogurt? Today, we're going to find out all about making yogurt, doing a value-added product with the milk from a small dairy in Ohio, and taking this project all the way up to the national stage, being a national finalist in this proficiency area in the FFA. We'll be speaking with Logan Schlaugh, coming to us from Millersburg, Ohio. Really interesting story. We're going to get it started for you right now. Joining me today is Logan Schlaugh, and he is coming to us from Millersburg, Ohio. Recently graduated, I guess about a year ago, from West Holmes High School, and now farming full-time. Also, a national finalist for the proficiency area of ag processing last fall. Logan, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me on.
Hey, you bet. I'm glad to speak with you, and I'm really interested in finding out about your SAE that led to that and what you did in ag processing. What I'd like to do, though, is start off the interview just by kind of getting to know you a little bit. Would that be all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, how old are you now?
I am 18 currently.
Okay. And so tell us about your farm. What kind of farming are you and your family doing there in Ohio?
We are a generation dairy farmer. We milk about 40 cows and 40 replacement heifers.
Okay. And so full-on 100% dairy operation?
Yep, only dairy, nothing else.
Okay.
Some stray cats occasionally.
Yeah, okay. Oh, man, you made me think of a joke there from a movie called Meet the Parents. Have you ever seen that movie?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. So, and I'm sorry, you kind of faded out when you said how many generations that the farm has been in your family.
Yeah, I'm the fourth.
The fourth. Okay. So when does that? Where's that go back to? What year did it start? Or
I don't know a specific year, but
okay. But it started by your
when they bought it.
Your great grandparents, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. That's great to have that history.
Yeah.
And you're able to come home and work full time on the farm?
Yep.
Okay.
Right out of high school.
That's great. And so in addition to milking the cows, are you guys growing all the feed for your cattle as well, or do you purchase your feed?
We have our grains purchased, but we grow the hay and silage that we feed them.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, that's very cool. And what part of Ohio is Millersburg in?
It's in the Amish country, about the center, but it's Amish country.
Okay. I'm looking it up. I always love to look on the map and see where my guests are at. So, very interesting. Okay, so you're like due west of Pittsburgh and northeast of Columbus, Ohio.
Uh-huh.
Okay, very cool. Well, so what brought you into the FFA? What made you join that group?
My dad was in it, and Grandpa was in it, and then we always been on the farm, so it just seemed like something you do when you got to high school. You were in FFA.
Okay. So it's kind of what you do, and what did you think? Was it the good decision for you?
Yeah, it was good because you got to hear what other people do other than what you're doing on the dairy farm, but you got to know what the beef people industry is doing, pigs, and not just what's going on in the dairy industry, because you already know that.
Yeah, so it broadened your horizons. You learned more about agriculture than you already know. Yeah, very cool. Okay, well, good for you. That's great. And so were you able to, I guess, emphasize dairy while you were in the FFA, or did you branch out and do like CDE competitions and things like that in areas that you'd maybe never thought of?
I stayed in dairy all of my CDEs because I knew what I was doing and I could help the team, I thought. Okay. Otherwise, I didn't want to hurt them not knowing what I was doing.
Sure. And what kind of cattle do you guys milk on your dairy farm?
We have Holsteins.
Okay, Holsteins. Very cool. That is great. So now, a 40-head dairy. Are you automated? Are you using? Are you putting on the milking machines by hand? I mean, describe to us how it works a little bit.
We have 8 stalls. it's a step up. They walk in, they step up, and they're a step up about 11 inches. And we put the milkers on, and then they have automatic takeoffs.
Okay.
And the cows walk out the front and go eat some hay, and then they go lay down.
Okay. Very good. Well, that's really cool. I can envision it. I need to get to Ohio and check it out. I've not been to your state yet, but I need to make that happen. Okay. All right. Well, let's do this. I would love to acknowledge who your FFA advisor was while you were in high school. Who was that?
That was Jamie Genevieve.
Okay. Well, thank you for mentioning Jamie and acknowledging them. I'm going to take a quick moment, Logan, and just acknowledge some sponsors of our show and everybody. Of course, I want to talk about Powder River livestock handling equipment, just the finest in squeeze chutes, alleyways, sweep tubs, runways, whatever you need to handle your large livestock. They were developed out here in the West where I live with some of the hardest to handle cattle you can find in the world, and they've been doing it for 80 years, making equipment to handle these type of cattle. And certainly if they can handle these type of cattle, they can handle the ones on your farm. So please check them out. They're at powderriver.com, and let your local farm and ranch retailer know you'd like to have Powder River there in their yard so you can select from the finest livestock handling equipment there is out there. And then, of course, Lacrosse Footwear, everybody. You can find them at lacrossefootwear.com. Lacrosse Footwear is proud to support the FFA by annually sponsoring 15 scholarships along with 100 jackets as part of the Give the Gift of Blue program. And, of course, we use Lacrosse boots. We use their Alpha Range boots on our farm here in Idaho every single day of the year. They are the go-to work boot. Whether it's wet and cold, snowy, icy, or we're out irrigating, it doesn't matter. We were always wearing the Lacrosse. We hope you'll do the same. You can find them over at lacrossefootwear.com. All right, well, Logan, let's talk about your supervised agricultural experience. So what were you doing for that throughout high school?
I was helping on the yogurt side of the farm, where right 17 feet from where the cows are milked, it goes into a vat where it starts beginning to be cooked.
Okay.
And we make it all on the farm, and then we deliver it from there.
Okay, interesting. So are you making yogurt and selling it to somebody and they're putting their brand name on it, or is the yogurt a value-added product that's got your farm's brand name on it?
It's a value-added product that we have our name on it, because most of them we take them to, right now, since all the colleges are home, we take it to a one spot, and they deliver it to a bunch of stores around Cleveland and Columbus.
Okay.
And it has our brand, and it has our label on it with our name, farm name and stuff.
That's awesome. So what's the brand name of the yogurt?
Velvet View Farms.
Awesome. Velvet View Farms yogurt.
Yep.
Okay. And do you do different flavors and things like that?
We have a original, which is a drinkable, kind of a cook with kind of yogurt, and then a Greek that we have strawberry and blueberry flavors, and now we're starting vanillas.
Okay. Very cool. So how long has the yogurt production been going on your farm?
We've been making it since 2009. We started looking into different things other than just selling your milk in 2008, when the dairy industry took the first big hit.
Mm-hmm.
We decided we needed to do something else. Well, we were going to do cheese, and in Holmes County, there's about, within the 30 miles, there's 6 different cheese houses, so you're about out of being able to make cheese, so we had to move on to find a different way to make something.
And yogurt was just sitting there waiting for you.
Yep, and it seemed like the next easiest thing to do.
Very cool. What a great idea. So walk us through the process. How does yogurt get made?
Well, you starts with the cow. You got to make sure you got a good, healthy cow. She's at the top of her game, so your milk's the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then goes 17 feet into the vat where it's pasteurized. It's heated up to 180, and then you cool it back down to around 100, and you put the culture in, and it sits in the vat for a couple hours, and then you come back after about 5-6 hours to pump it over into either the Greek vats to strain the whey off, or into the filling machine where we put packaging into the cups and get it ready to box to go to the stores. Really?
I mean, the way you describe it, I know you've done it a million times. It sounds so simple, but I bet it's a complex process.
It occasionally has its pains when you're doing it. So things break, things don't want to work. I think it's too hot, too cold in the room.
Yeah, if it's too hot or too cold, or if the pH gets off or something like that, does it ruin the batch?
Mainly it depends on the pH and stuff, and then occasionally if the room's not warm around it, the whole vat temperature will drop, and then you have to deal with that. But.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So, do you make exclusively yogurt, or do you sell some milk as well?
We're about right now at 80% going to yogurt and 20% we sell, and that's just to a guy comes and picks it up. A milk truck comes and picks it up every other day. They take it to their place and they make cheese with it. So.
Okay, really interesting. So you're making yogurt just consistently day after day after day.
When the colleges and everything are in, we are. But then when they're not in, it's about twice a week.
Okay. So then right now, with the colleges being out, schools being out, and all of that because of the COVID virus, then what are you doing with your excess milk?
They're just going more back to the milk truck goes with him in the bulk tank.
So they're able to purchase that extra inventory you have.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a really
about the time it started.
What's that?
Oh, I was just going to say about the time that the whole COVID thing started, they were asking for about as much milk as they could get. They couldn't produce enough cheese. So.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, at least in your case, the timing was kind of fortunate.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting stuff. So, now how do you flavor a yogurt? So, you mentioned some of your Greek yogurt is strawberry, and what other flavor?
Blueberry and a vanilla.
Okay. So, how do you flavor those things? What do you have to do?
Those are, right now, we only sell it in our 6-ounce containers, and we put a scoop. Well, we sell it in a 6-ounce and then the 30-pound pail for the colleges, but the 6 ounces you put just a little, like a cookie scoop size thing of fruit, jam, I guess, in the bottom of the cup, and then you stir it in when you buy it, and it's in the bottom. You stir it in,
okay,
and then and then the buckets we dump it in, stir it in, and take it and deliver from there. For the colleges are already stirred up, and all they have to do is serve it.
How do the colleges serve it if they're buying it in that big a quantity? How do they serve it to the students in the food service?
Most of the times they just have it in like a container sitting out wherever they're serving the food. Okay. And like if you want the yogurt, you can scoop it in. Or some of them they make smoothies or parfait things with it, where the kids can pick them up and make their own, add what they want to it.
Now, is there a lot, with you guys producing this yogurt right there on the farm, is there a lot of extra inspection from the USDA or your State Department of Ag and things like that has to be done?
We had to add an extra ODA, but we eventually will probably have to get to where we have some USDA comes, because right now we're only in the state of Ohio we ship to.
Okay.
And so it's just Ohio inspectors have to come, but once we get to hopefully a little bigger, we can ship a little outside of the state, and then you have to have the other inspector come. But we used to have him come, and then we realized you're not really shipping out of the state, so you don't need an extra one to come in and tell you had it clean in there.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Very interesting. So now, has the business, you said it started in 2009, so here we are 11 years later. Is it growing every year? Are you selling yogurt to more and more places every year?
Yeah, when we started out, we only sold to like a few stores and stuff, and we sold only the original. And I'd say and that was only, I don't know, probably 100 gallons a week. And since then, we're up to where it's good 200-300 gallons, and we're as much as we can. We're into the Greek, mainly sell Greek. Occasionally you sell some original buckets to the colleges, because then they can do like their smoothies are easier and stuff. But most of it's now the Greek we sell it in.
So now, who is the person in your family that goes out and finds the customers to purchase your yogurt and to resell it?
Most of it was we had a guy that was helping us when we first started. He set it up, and then from there, what we've grown was when, like, at the colleges, a chef goes and transfers which school he's at. He says, "Hey, I really like Velvet View yogurt. Can we get it here?" And a couple weeks into the school year, you get a call or email or something asking for the yogurt, and then like the stores, sometimes we'll just drive and have set up like a sample station and see if they like it. If it does good on the sample side of things, set up a meeting with the people and figure out how to get it in their stores.
Okay.
To them.
Oh, that is awesome. So when you're at maximum production, you're about your milk from your 40 head of cows is going 80% to yogurt, 20% to cheese production at a cheese production facility that's not yours. So you've got 20% room, I guess, to ramp up and make more yogurt as you develop more customers. What happens when you're using 100% of your milk for yogurt, and you've got, you're trying to expand and you got more people that want to purchase your yogurt? How will you guys grow and meet that demand?
Well, actually, on the farm, we can go up to, last year we had 70 head of cattle, and we sold we're milking, and we sold a bunch, trying to get down to, we do a lot of showing at local, national, and state shows and stuff. So we got down to where we got all the cows that we thought would make the best show animals, so we could take them to a show, be ready for a show whenever we wanted to go somewhere.
So you've got room to expand your herd and to milk more cattle.
We can. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Now, you talked about putting the culture into the milk and letting it become yogurt, I guess. What is the culture? What is that?
It's really is a culture. It's like your bugs that make it what it is. 'Cause it's a little tiny bottle. You put in so many grams of it, and it just sits there. You come back in a few hours, and it's worked its way through the whole thing, and it's yogurt in there. Like, you leave, it's real sloshy milk, and you come back, it's a little thicker product when you come back. So
it must be some mixture of bacteria in there, I would assume.
Yeah, that's something that changes what the what the particles are. Yeah.
All right. Well, so do you have a favorite flavor of the yogurt that you produce there on your farm?
Strawberry if I have to eat it. Most of the time, I don't normally eat it unless it's in something.
You've had enough yogurt already.
Yeah, that's what you get. You can eat it for so long.
No, I understand. That is really cool. Well, so when it comes to this business, I mean, obviously, as it grows, people are going to take on specialized roles. I mean, there's going to be somebody who's in charge of milking, somebody who's in charge of the farming, somebody who's in charge of distributing, somebody who's in charge of yogurt production, somebody who's in charge of marketing. I mean, it's going to, as it grows, it's going to get more and more complex. Of all those roles, which one would you like to find yourself in?
Well, actually, right now, I do all the delivering and stuff to the different colleges, stores, or like to the one place where they distribute it. So really more on the side of like the taking orders, making stuff, like the making of different things and that side.
Okay. So when you were going through FFA, and I know that every FFA chapter teaches about value-added products, when you got to that lesson, did you raise your hand and go, "Hey, I know all about this"? Or as you learned about why people do value adding, did you take what you were learning and go, "Okay, now I understand what we're doing on our dairy"?
It was a little bit of both. You didn't really think of it before. You didn't think of it as like you were doing that. You were just making the money to make sure you made through the next month and had enough money to do stuff. And then like in class, you were like, "Well, yeah, I make this product." There'd be occasional times where people were like, students couldn't figure out like why you would want to sell this for this and not like make a major profit like the first time, but then down the road you have that person or something. And you just sit there and be like, "Seriously, why can't you figure this out?"
So what you're talking about is like if milk prices are high, students couldn't figure out, well, why would you make less selling yogurt than you could by selling milk when you're looking at the future going, well, because we want to have a specialized product that'll be there when milk prices are low.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, let's do this. Before we finish up, Logan, I want to ask you some advice or ask your advice for other students out there. When they get to that part where they're learning about value-added products, from your standpoint, from you being on a 4th-generation dairy farm, from your family looking for a way to make it sustainable as a business, just talk to those students for a second. How important has creating a value-added product been for the survival of your family's dairy?
Well, for us, I would say it's pretty much sealed that we are still farming now, because only milking a few head, you don't have where, even though the milk price is low, you're still shipping so much milk that you're making enough money to pay all the bills. It's helped with your feed cost. You don't have to rely on the milk check coming in every time, and it more of your alleviates the stress of, oh man, the milk price was down another so many cents or dollars or stuff a month, that you can kind of sell the yogurt towards, okay, we need to make this much and sell this much per month to make sure by the end of the year you're still all right with the profit you made.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and I've been so fascinated with this yogurt process, I completely forgot to ask you about being a national finalist in your proficiency area, but tell me about that. How hard was it to fill out the record book and do the application, and what was it like to be a national finalist?
The record book, it was probably about the challengingest part, because I had to remember to make sure I had it all filled out and looked right and sounded right. And then application took about, I don't know, it was probably 6 hours or so working on the application, making sure everything sounded right. It didn't sound like somebody else had wrote it, made sure it sounded like I was the one, and that everything was 100% true, and just telling our story.
Yeah, very cool. And then you got up on stage with 3 other national finalists, is that right?
Yep. Yeah, you get up there and you think, man, there's a lot of blue jackets out there. And then you just kind of look at the ground, look at the lights in front of you, and if they call your name, get excited. If not, you say, well, we made it here. That's top 4 in the United States, so pretty good.
Well, I agree. So ultimately, they selected another finalist as the winner. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But ultimately, the margins between...
You'll get to there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the margins between the 4 people on that stage are so razor thin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what...
Yeah.
It's like 0.0025% of FFA members.
Right. Yeah, I think, just depending on the day or depending on the people who are assessing the record books, any one of you 4 could be selected as the winner.
Yeah.
Once you get to that level, you're all so close. Yeah, it's really quite an accomplishment. Congratulations to you on that, Logan.
Thank you.
You bet. Well, hey, this has been really cool. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing this with us.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me on. It's fun to tell somebody else what our story is. It's not from just around Ohio.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Off-Farm Income Podcast, and thank you to Logan Schlaugh for sharing his story. And as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.